Water system activated. 13 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, main engine 4, 3, 2, 1.
Sorry about that. That music is so loud. Hey, Brian, can you say something on the microphone so I can see if I've got you?
Balls.
All right, Sanchez.
I'm eating a cookie.
All right, there you go. I can hear you guys. I don't need the headphones. Hold on. Just sound off. Okay, there you go. Oh, did you hear something?
Hey, no, but I did shut the door behind me, so Randy's gonna have a hard time getting in here by himself. Which I'm not saying I did it on purpose, but I'm not saying I'm glad I didn't do it. I'm not saying I'm not.
Hi, everybody. It's your host, Michael McBrine. Joining me on the show today is Mr. Brian Ines. Hello, Brian.
Hello, Michael.
And, of course, the cookie monster himself, Sanchez.
Yeah.
And also joining us, maybe Randy. I don't know. Who knows?
Let's hope not.
He said he's going to be on the show tonight, but we were just discussing Randy likes to lie. So who knows?
Well, he probably got stuck on the time loop.
What?
There's times where I wish you'd shut up just as much as I wish Randy would shut up.
What? I was going to ask, but then I remembered I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Let me zoom in on you guys a little bit here. So we are back from our week break. Did you guys have a good Thanksgiving?
Yes, I stayed home and avoided all my family.
Did you really?
Yes. Well, I actually worked that night. I worked Thanksgiving night.
How was that, by the way? That was my first night not working there in like 6 years. It was amazing.
It was actually okay. It wasn't as bad. A lot of really hot older women.
But no tens.
No tens. There's no tens in Waco.
There's never a 10. We were just having this discussion. He says there's no 10s in Waco, which is why you're still single. He's holding out for a 10, right?
No,
Sanchez?
I'm not holding out for a 10.
Okay.
I'm holding out. I'm holding out for like a consistent 3.
Maybe a 2 and a 1 at the same time, just collectively.
Oh man, I don't know.
All right. I totally disagree. I think there are some 10s in Waco.
Well, it all depends. You compare like a Waco 10 to like say, I don't know, like a 10 from LA or something, or a 10 from Houston even.
I've had comedians come in town and say that Waco has some of the best looking women.
What the fuck?
Seriously, it's
what is the smog so bad in the cities they came from that they like?
I don't know about that, but I'm telling you what I know.
Okay, I mean, but like I'm not saying they're lying. I'm just saying that
The lack of eyesight.
No, I'm not even saying
they
that.
were all blind, the comedians, but no,
so the contours of their face were better than in the other one.
They felt yes. No, it's just what I've heard. I just disagree. So I can't believe especially with Randy being involved. Nothing really interesting happened to you on Thanksgiving, Brian.
Well, actually, I did have a really awkward Thanksgiving meal the other day. Where
You had an awkward Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah, I
Was it? It wasn't on Thanksgiving.
no, it was a few days after.
Okay.
Family late Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Where
I'm interested. Go ahead.
I believe one of my siblings is a teacher, and she had one of her teacher friends, who I think for most of the night assumed that I was special needs.
Okay.
To begin this,
Was she right?
I did smoke out a little bit too much before going,
Okay.
and then my headphones got caught in the door going in, which was somewhat of a.
So you look like a spaz, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't find a way to get him out, so I spent like about 30 seconds trying to find a way to open up the door.
So you said this friend, was this like a special friend?
No,
Oh.
it was a work friend.
No, it was a special friend. I just didn't want to tell you. That's my theory anyway.
Yes. Well, aren't all friends special though?
No. Have you met Randy?
Randy's very special.
Oh, he's the most special. I'm sorry. No. Well, since no one's going to ask, I'm gonna say I had a pretty nice Thanksgiving. Like I was telling you before,
Well, you have a nice family, so we're just assuming it's boring to ask. It'd be boring to ask.
maybe. Well, I will. It was, but see, I like that. You know, boring is good. Boring, there's no surprises. Nothing. You know, the less bad things when there's boring.
Well,
Yeah, like I said, I worked in retail for the past. Well, I worked at Toys R Us for 6 years. So I did Black Thursday night and then Black Friday for 6 years. And before that, I worked at the mall for I think 3 years. So I was doing Black Friday there. So this is my first Thanksgiving I could actually spend at home in 9 years. So it was nice. I got to stay home. I got to watch the Cowboys lose. It was great, you know. Boy, that Cowboys team is in trouble, aren't they?
Oh yeah. How long before they start blaming Dak like they did Romo?
Well, no, they've already started blaming Dak.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about his numbers in the past 3 games are just pitiful, you know.
Oh yeah. You can be the greatest quarterback on the Dallas team, and the rest of your team can be shit.
Well, here's the thing. If you don't believe Ezekiel Elliott was the key to them doing so well last year, I think it's been pretty much established now.
Yeah, but everybody put it on Dak and said he's the next big thing.
Yeah, you know, here's the thing about Dak Prescott is I like Dak. As a human being, he's a wonderful person.
Oh yeah, he comes off as a nice guy. Yeah.
I just think that he's still young at the quarterback position. And it's going to take him time to grow, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say Aaron Rodgers would be as great as he was if he wasn't playing behind Brett Favre for the first couple of years or whatever? Same thing with John Elway. John Elway, not a lot of people remember this, but John Elway started his rookie year, and then he had to get benched, and then he had to work his way back up. Sometimes it works like that. And that's the reason
there's a football player that paid the shit out of some dudes before actually getting his. Jesus Christ! Yeah, he
got drafted to an MLB team too. Did you know that?
No.
He didn't want to play for. I think the 49ers were threatening to draft him, and he was like, Joe Montana was still really young at this point, so he's like, I don't want to be on the bench behind Joe Montana. I think
he probably would have spent the bench his whole career on the bench.
Yeah, I think it was a situation like that. I could be wrong. I think it might have been another West Coast team. But yeah, he didn't want to go there, and so he was just threatening to, if they had drafted him, to do the Bo Jackson thing and just not play, and he would have went to baseball too. He was a pretty good ball player from what I understand. So yeah. So it's the same thing with Dak. I just think that he could have been seasoned a little bit more. And here's one thing that Dak I don't get. Have you ever noticed when he throws a pass, he jumps? Like he kicks his legs out. That's so. That's interesting to me. You know, just, like he jumps up and he kicks his legs like outwards. Yeah, and you know, so you got no Zeke, Des Bryant, who has his skills have deteriorated.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the premier receiver he used to be. Like somebody showed some clips of him on YouTube, or not YouTube, but Facebook, and he couldn't get open. Like he couldn't get separated from us. Like most like great wide receivers know how to, what I'm saying? They know how to get open. Like Jerry Rice was famous for that, but and then he's missing Tyron Smith and yeah. So Cowboys, it's really sad because the past couple of years, you really got this sense that the Cowboys were in really good shape.
Oh yeah,
and they had a shot at it, but this year you kind of just knew.
Well, that's all negative, but like let's focus on the positive that happened in football this week. Eli Manning getting benched.
No, I hate that.
Why do you hate that? Like he's been riding his brother's coattails.
The Giants are going to be better.
Oh,
I don't like that. I don't like the Giants being better. They're gonna, because the Giants have just realized
I've always thought he was a bad quarterback. Like,
well, maybe not a bad quarterback. Certainly not an elite quarterback. Certainly a quarterback that doesn't deserve an MVP award.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I think he won both the Super Bowl MVPs.
He wasn't the reason.
Look, he's one of those guys that just comes up big in big games.
Their defense won them those games. It wasn't their offense.
That was Colt McCoy's problem. He could come up big and or not Colt McCoy, Vince Young. His problem. He could come up big in big games, but you actually had to do something to get there first. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to talk about football no more. This is boring. Yeah.
I was actually thinking, I was like, man, I don't know if I'm really interested in talking about, or not talking about watching the NFL for the rest of the year. It's just like, it's boring now to me, and it's not fun. It's all political, and it sucked all the
it's
fun.
Passing. Baseball had its time. Football has its time.
I mean, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. I mean, it's all good.
That's where the future's at.
It's just not. It's just sports is just not a subject that really gets me.
Blitzball.
That's a Final Fantasy reference, and you fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. It's not even a good Final Fantasy reference. It's not even from a good Final Fantasy game.
It was all right.
Speaking of political,
Titus wasn't real.
I wanted to.
That's one of the reasons that the story ended up being shit. I'm sorry.
What story?
Me and him go back and forth on video games all the time, like as far as like story and like whether the game was good or not, especially in the Final Fantasy series.
You didn't mention Jesus, right?
No, Titus.
Oh, I thought you said Jesus.
He was the main character.
He's practically Jesus. I mean,
he wasn't Jesus. He was a goddamn fucking dream.
He wasn't real. A dream that mankind had.
So anyway, there's been and like I mentioned this earlier, just an onslaught of accusations. Surprisingly, none against me for sexual harassment.
Well, in order for you to be accused of it, you have to hold some sort of power over people.
Are you kidding? Are you saying the Michael McBrine show? Michael McBrine isn't the premier show?
No, I'm saying that. It's like
you want a spot on this show? Won't you
anyway,
lift them thighs up?
We'll make it happen. No, there's been just this sort of slew of accusations against high-profile males about sexual harassment, and we've had 2 today. It's so. Is it sickening to anybody else? Not necessarily the accusation, just like, here we go again. It's just another, celebrity that's been accused, and it's really gotten to where. And what makes me the most angry and upset about it is that there's like no question as questioning the accuser. It's like people automatically side with the woman.
Well, yeah, it's
And,
like that. It's like, as far as like me being a dude and like being Mexican growing up, like my grandmother always made me like watch and read. She made me read like and watch To Kill a Mockingbird. It's like, you know, it's like you got to kind of question everything. You got to kind of look at people and like you got to look further than just like what's on the outside. Or
but nobody's doing that. It seems.
Yeah, it's like I've read the book. I've seen the book. It's like, I'm a Mexican. There's no possible fucking way in hell you're going to make me believe immediately because someone accuses a man of something like that I'm automatically going to believe the victim. Like, no, that's not how it works. I'm not.
Here's what I don't get.
I'm not going to immediately jump on somebody, especially if I don't know them.
The worst part is about these guys that, and they're not even like being accused of like anything that, in my opinion, major, you know, and they're just automatically apologizing for it. And I'm just like, the worst one was the one that happened today with Garrison Keillor. Did you read about this?
Was that the guy who was choking bitches?
I'm kind of behind on the.
Who was choking people?
I don't remember, but I just remember a guy who was like a male feminist who was on like one of those like shows like NPR public radio or something, and they found out he was like choking
Charlie
bitches.
Rose? Is that who you're talking
No,
about?
Charlie Rose was just like fucking grabbing titties and making them cry. I mean,
so anyway, Garrison Keillor, he of course is
which
famous.
is bad, horrible.
He's famous for the Prairie Home Companion, like the show that my parents used to make me listen to, like on road trips. Travis, it was, and then he went down to the lake, and and it's supposed to be this long-winded, old-timey stories. They're just, it's really kind of innocent, but it's supposed to be humorous, but it's really boring. And so he got accused, and he's like one of these. He's almost not. He's a little Mr. Rogers-esque, where you just don't really see it coming from.
But those are usually the guys that are like, you know, like, man, you're
right,
way too squeaky for me not to like think you.
The guy's had like a 50-year career in like PBS or whatever, and he's 75 now. And this was his point of view. This was his story. They don't really go into detail about what the accuser says or whatever. Or they might have. I just didn't read the part. But I read his point of view. What he. You want to hear what he said? He said, "This is what happened. He put his hand on a lady's back. That was it. He was trying to pat her on the back, and she had one of those like button-up back shirts, and like it was unbuttoned, and like I guess she moved, and he went for the pat, and like his hand went up her shirt a little, you know." And she, as soon as he did that, she said that she recoiled, you know, because she was creeped out. I guess she thought that he was trying to reach up her shirt or whatever. And he apologized, and then sent her an email later saying he apologized again. And he said this was, I don't know how long ago, but said they were friendly. They were on friendly terms since then, until the day he got contacted by her lawyer, saying, you know, we're going to sue or whatever. And then so PBS immediately fired him. And that's what bothers me. They didn't even ask any questions. They just immediately fired him, and he's like apologizing, not even trying to fight it. You know, here's the thing: if somebody accused me of that, I understand he's 75. He wants to retire anyway. You know?
It's like, oh man, I gotta make some big deal about it. I'm just gonna go home.
Yeah, he's like, I bet from his point of view, is like the worst thing to do is make a big deal about this. If the people are gonna forget it. But what I see, and if somebody accused me of this, I'd be like, no, F you, I didn't do that, you know, whatever. Just because, you know, and someone got mad at me online because I said,
was it the Facebook thing the other day?
I actually read through that thread. That was quite
no, this was a different Facebook thing. This was during
because that one was actually interesting. I think at the end there. On that
Are
one,
you talking about the Justice League or the Al Franken one?
The Justice League one.
This was the Al Franken. Somebody got mad at me, and I said, I referred to the accusing men of harassment as being kind of in vogue right now, And they're like, how can you say it? I was like, well, it is. It's like a trend right now. It's very
Oh yeah, it's trendy right now.
And to get mad at that's kind of pointless because it's like, why even? It is in vogue right now. It's not. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a trivial thing. I'm just saying that's the way it is.
That's why I'm happy that Kobe Bryant got his in early. Because if that shit would have happened, he was accused of raping that girl, they would have that would have been
had no career.
He would have had no career. Period.
There would have been no number 24.
Yeah,
he would have had to retire.
Yeah, they would have kicked him off a team. They would have suspended him for a year, maybe, or even indefinitely.
Yeah.
And that's before. Yeah, and that's before he even got that would have happened before he even went to trial. And even after he went to trial and probably would have got acquitted because, once you look back on it, it was complete bullshit.
Okay, you guys have all heard the Matt Lauer thing.
Yeah,
he got fired. What did Matt Lauer say? What was his response?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, Matt Lauer got fired for something, but they haven't released what exactly happened, so I can't really comment on that.
What was his response?
I don't know.
That's right. Nobody knows. We haven't even heard his side of the story. Here's what happened. He basically was cheating on his wife, and he got caught cheating on his wife. So now he's in a situation where he's like, he can't really admit what happened because then he'd be admitting it's exactly like Kobe Bryant. It was like I didn't rape the girl, but I was cheating on my wife. Mm-hmm. So now just Matt Lauer, just buy her a big diamond.
Yeah, ring, but part of that, that whole cheating thing, they kind of encourage that. But you remember back when Matt Lauer first started doing the Today Show,
yeah,
and they sexualized the hell out of Matt Lauer.
Remember when he took that picture with his shirt off on the beach?
Oh yeah,
and these women were drooling all over him.
Yeah, he had women sending him naked pictures on the left and right, and then you want him to turn that off after y'all done condition him to be that way? Oh, fuck you.
I don't know. It's really sad, and I think we're at a point right now where and this is what I feel bad for Garrison Keillor. Although, and this is the reason.
That is a very convenient story. I mean, at the same time, I can see why people are saying, "Come on, dude, are you, really?" Really? Well, that's something out of a fucking an early Steve Martin movie.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think he's ever had any other accusations. Yeah. And of all the things, he just sort of let's just say for the sake of argument, he is a creep.
Yeah.
And he was trying to feel her back. I don't know. I just
that's bad. That's bad.
How bad is that?
You're still putting your hands on someone who doesn't want to be touched by you. That under every
There's
situation is
bubble.
That's still I mean, even if I've had I'm not the best looking guy in the world. Obviously, look at me. Look at me. But I've had drunk women touch me in public, and I'm like, ugh. Fucking touch me, nasty fucking.
I've had Randy touch me and I didn't want to be.
Yeah, exactly. You see how that makes you feel, and
Randy he patted me on the back or something. We were leaving, I was like, "Oh, Randy, don't touch me."
Did his hand go up your shirt?
His hand didn't go on my shirt. I don't know.
It went down your pants.
All right, so that's bad. The hand on the back is bad.
No, that's bad under any situation, and that's
But is that a fireable bad?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
I mean. Yeah, I understand why women feel uncomfortable around men. We could easily kill them.
Well, not Brian.
Brian could easily, have an asthma attack, fall on him and kill him, crush him to death. But I get why they get so uncomfortable around men, or when they feel cornered by a man. Yeah. We could easily kill them. There's no getting around that.
He says with a laugh.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying it's
Okay, so
it's healthy for women to have a fear of men, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I totally get that. And there are a lot of pigs out there, but we're in a dangerous place now.
I see what you're saying here. I mean, for one thing, yes, a lot of these men who are being accused, they did something kind of fucked up that abused the trust of their coworkers and people that they work with. I guess would be coworkers.
Well,
but the fact is though there right now there's not really a whole lot to go on. Yeah, with some of them, there's the amount of accusers, like with Weinstein, with the Cosby. Some of them do have cooperation, but there are a lot of them also that you can't really prove it. It's just one word against the other.
No, well, see, there's another thing too. It's like lumping them all as all the same. It's kind of like
also
That's
what's getting me.
To.
That's what's getting me. That's what kind of irks me a little bit. Because like comparing like say a Cosby and a Weinstein to like what Louis C.K. did, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like, Weinstein was like standing in the way and jerking off and people, like forcibly jerking off on chicks, like. And Cosby was fucking drugging chicks while it's like, here's Louis C.K. asking them before. Like,
and that's the big problem.
But what he did was wrong because he did it at work. Like
we're at this point now where I don't know, feminists, whatever.
I mean, that's still. I mean, I'm not saying what he did went wrong.
On the same level, like any kind of sexual harassment is rape now, basically. But that's not.
I mean, to a certain extent, I will say that like I'm pretty sure every woman has been sexually harassed at one point.
Probably.
Pretty much, it's like you can't get around. Every woman has been in some way sexually harassed at one point in their life. It doesn't.
But getting back to what I was trying to say, we're at a dangerous point right now where we're not even questioning the accusers. Which I think is dangerous because now you have opportunists out there. Like, well, I think, and of course it's he said, she said, I wasn't there, I don't know. But just from Garrison Keillor's history and the situation and what he's saying, it really does sound like somebody said, oh, I can make some money off of this. When he put his hand on my back, it's same thing with Al Franken. I think she's an opportunist as well and just wanted to get him either to, quit the Senate or she's looking for money or a story. So I think she's an opportunist too. And that's what's really bad. And I really feel bad for these real victims out there who really do, suffer because of, rapists or sexual harassers or whatever. Because now I'm less likely to automatically believe them. I'm going to question everybody, which you should do.
You question everybody. That should be the original. Be exactly how it goes.
Here's the big question. What do we do about it? Is there anything we can do about it? We just have to. It's depressing to think that this is the new norm, and just every few days, like another major. We're gonna run out. First of all, we're gonna run out of celebrities.
No, there's a lot of them.
We're gonna eventually run out of celebrities.
I mean, we're just gonna be stuck with the most boring celebrities anyway.
Yeah.
We're
gonna have like a million James Cordens.
Yeah, we're gonna have a million Julia Stiles or whatever, who bore the living shit out of me. We're gonna have a million fucking.
You know what's gonna happen? Is it's just all gonna be females on TV.
Oh yeah. Well,
that's what's gonna happen.
There'll never be only female comedians. At least I don't think so.
Now we're drifting into dangerous waters.
No, I'm just saying. It's I know this is like a very shitty stance to take on it, but I'm sort of with the whole Christopher Hitchens thing of like men are funnier because we have to be like.
Well, I mean, I've heard a woman, I forget who it was, but she said that. And this is why I admire women that are actually funny.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of them.
There's not.
I'm not saying that there's not.
They're not conditioned to be funny as far as men are, and part of it is that we're dealt to deal with our emotions and our feelings in a different way. We're taught to be men and be tough and to laugh it off and to make jokes about it. Whereas women, they're sort of more about dealing with their emotions and confronting it. And taking more of a serious approach. And that's all comedy is. It's just pain, just interpreted, And another thing, it's like we don't expect women to be funny, in households growing up, women aren't encouraged usually, You know, and it's not to say, and it's a really ugly and mean thing to say, well, women aren't funny, you know.
No, I'm not saying they're not funny. I never said that.
I'm just saying it's an ugly thing. But
I just say I
it
find
is
men
true.
funnier on the average more than I do.
on the average, I think, and that's just because of the way society's brought us up, and it's not anybody's fault,
Mm-mm.
you know.
It's social evolution.
Exactly. So, but just to get offended by it's not going to do any good. I don't know. We're in a really weird time with comedy. It kind of sucks to be a comedian right now.
I would know. I'm not a comedian.
You were the funniest one the other night.
I don't know
I
about
have to
that.
give you props for that. You were the funniest.
Oh no,
you know?
Reggie was funny, and a homeboy that opened up the show. I thought he was actually.
Me?
No, the other.
who opened up the
I
show?
can't, I'm
Me?
sorry, I can't remember his name, but he was. I love the way he interacted with that group, that table at the front, where he seemed so dismissive.
They pissed me off so much. I hate groups like that.
He was so dismissive of him, and the way he just like reacted was just like it. I found that hilarious. Like,
He was like, okay, well, I'm going to go back to doing
yeah,
it.
it's like okay, well, I'm gonna go back to doing comedy. Okay, I was like, fucking A, dude.
Yeah, those women were annoying, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. They seemed to like me for some reason.
Yeah, you had no problem with them because I liked you. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's funny because the last time we're talking about Reggie French.
Yes.
Very funny, Reggie French.
Yes.
The last time he was there, we had a crowd like that. And so
Mhm.
I'm just thinking he thinks we have like that kind of crowd every single
We
time.
just have like a late 40s like drunk chicks.
women
Yeah.
come out to the show and just love to talk and
Well, I love the fact that you did like my daughter speaks a lot of English, and there was an Asian woman in the front row.
oh gosh, I usually have no problem. By the way, it's not often I actually get like a real Asian person unless
Yeah.
I've invited them as a comedian. Unless it's like Ty Win or somebody.
Mhm.
We're gonna have to have him back. He was hilarious. Man.
Oh yeah, he was. He was like the best one there that night. Just killed it.
Yeah, usually I don't have an Asian, and then I just happen to have one. Not only did I happen to have one sitting in the front row, she happened to be getting up to get a drink or go to the bathroom. Just right when I went to that joke, and she just shot her head around and said, like the joke hadn't even started yet. And I was like, oh, just please wait. That's about the most risque thing I do is that joke. And I think I dress it up enough to where you'd have to be looking for somebody to get offended by, to be offended by that.
That's what people do best.
Yeah. So you really didn't go spend time with your family on Thanksgiving?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
Cause I'm a loner. I've always
Wasn't
been a
your
loner.
mom just in the hospital though?
It's a bit. Yeah, she'll heal.
That's what hospitals
No,
are for.
I've always been like, even in my family, I've always been the one that's like been kind of off, like different, like.
I can see that.
Well, see, here's the thing. It's like my brothers. I have 3 brothers and 1 sister. 2 of my brothers were from the same father.
Save your Mexican jokes.
Yeah. 2 of my brothers were from the same father, the ones that I was raised with. My grandmother, the one that raised us, and my mom had 2 other kids with the guy she married. So I was technically the only one that didn't have like a duplicate.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So on some level, I couldn't, and I still can't to this day relate to them. You understand? And I never really related to my mother. So, which is weird because my dad's side, I didn't know till I was 27, so I can't relate to them either.
Right.
So
What's your situation with your father?
I haven't talked to him in like, it's only going on 3-4 years now.
Okay.
It's not nothing that we're having like feuding over. It's just like,
So you say you didn't know his side of the family until you're 27. How well did you know your father up until that point?
I didn't like know his face until I was 27.
Wow. It's funny is talking to other guys who didn't grow up with like a father. They act like it's not a big deal when people like myself that did, I would think like, oh
No,
my
but
God,
my grandmother was like
movies and TV has taught us that that's like the life-changing moment,
No, my grandmother was very, very old school, like Mexican. So she was every bit as tough as a guy, but still in woman form. Like, she understood a lot of things. Like, to a certain extent, we need that male.
Like about cars.
Huh?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, she didn't really know much about it. I didn't realize this until I got older, but she had a lot of guys doing things for her. Like I didn't realize that until I got like old enough to process it. It's like, man, she has a lot of dudes coming over here to fix the roof and fucking like fix
This is
walls
what
that
he
we
does,
broke
Brian.
and stuff.
This is how he gets girls. He just tells them the story. I never had a dad growing up.
No. And my
This is
grandmother.
what you need to start doing, Brian.
And this is a joke that
Never had a
I've been
dad.
working on for a little while too. It's like I'm not gonna tell it, but I'll give you the
Don't tell it.
background to it. It's like my grandmother would go off on these stories because my grandfather was in and out of prison for a while growing up when my mom was growing up. So my mom really didn't have a father growing up either. And
Without
she would
going into details, can you tell us the reason why he was in and out of prison?
one time for manslaughter. I think it
Oh,
was
Lord.
twice for manslaughter. I think one time he was enlisted
Was
in
he
the
like an
military.
angry drunk or
No. He was just a horrible he was just
psychopath?
no. He was just raised like this. I can tell you, my grandmother has a really sad story about my grandfather and his mother, which like kind of like I was like, oh shit, that dude never had a fucking chance. Like, but yeah, he was the first time I think she told me he killed one of her cousins and they counted as manslaughter. And I think before that he enlisted in the military and got drunk at a bar one time and like beat a superior officer to death.
Holy jeez.
So he was in there for manslaughter twice. The first time he was in there for federal prison, I think, and second time was state prison. He was later murdered.
So what's the difference between that and military prison? I don't.
I have
understand.
no clue. I really don't know. I didn't get the full story from my grandmother because my grandmother was always like busy and couldn't like sit down with this for too long.
Gosh.
But
Beat his superior officer to death. That's crazy.
yeah, but he was a bad dude. He was a bad dude. He ended up paying
He's
for it.
what
He got
Trump would call one of the bad hombres.
yeah. He got stabbed to death and ended up dying on the side of some stranger's house.
Jeez.
But my grandmother used to tell us stories like for us to be good, you know, besides taking us to Catholic school and like, you know, taking us to Catholic mass every Sunday, you know, like scaring the shit out of us. You know, she would actually sit us down and like, you know, she'd have a beer and like a smoke in one hand, almost like from like a homeboy from Jaws, you know, telling us those stories about when you go to prison, you get ass raped, like, you know, and she'd like stare off into space every now and then. We had to be like, hold on, hey, grandma, because at the time when she took us in, she was in her late 30s, so she still had plenty of time left in her tank. She was already done raising children, but she decided to take on 3 boys, and she did everything to protect us and stuff like that. You know, it's like, you know, full-on Mexican mothers, or, you know.
You mean your grandmother?
Yeah. Well, she still had that motherly thing in her, you know, like to the point
Did your
where.
grandmother raise you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, to the point where my mother
That's why
resented
you're
her.
not close to your mother.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
gotcha.
why I'm not close to my mother. You
And
know.
I'm just assuming your grandmother's passed.
Yeah.
Okay,
she
that's
passed
why
away.
you didn't spend any time with her.
Yeah, I didn't spend any time over there, and I don't really get along the best with my brothers or my sister. I get along with my sister. It's just like on the average.
Are you
know?
kind of emotionally detached from like everyone?
I'm kind of
Is it-
emotionally detached from everything.
Wow.
Like, I mean, I have to be. I mean, I don't have to be, but it's just fun.
When you
It's
say
just
you
better that
have
way.
to be. You kind of like to toughen up. Just
No. It's just better that way. More fun that way.
What's going on with Brian?
You got to go let Randy in.
Well, I thought we locked the door on purpose. No.
You got to go that way, you idiot. No, but yeah, I'm emotionally detached from everything because it's just, I mean, like, that's why I gotten such a huge.
I don't know why we're letting Randy. We're making such progress with Sanchez.
No,
here.
I had a girlfriend one. There was a girl that I was dating once, and like she got really upset with me, and I think it was the end of the relationship at that point when I saw a dog get ran over, and I just laughed at the sounds it made. And she didn't understand that, like, it's just a
She
dog.
broke up with you for that?
Yeah. It wasn't that I was like, look at that. That's poor dog. Fucking fuck that dog. I was just like, you know.
You want to hear the funniest reason I ever broke up with somebody?
Why?
Okay, so I was going out with this chick who was, she worked at the Jewel Theater here in town. I'm not going to say her name because I don't remember it. I really don't remember it. She was, I remember when we met, I think it was kind of, I don't know. She was one of those I thought she was pretty when we met. And like the second time I met her, she like looked so different. You know? I think it may have had a lot to do with she was like the first skinny chick I like really ever really dated. I had dated
No,
some.
no, they suck.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
dated-
I'm kidding. All skinny girls. I met some nice ones. Y'all nice.
I dated just like fat chicks before that because I had such low self-esteem.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with. God damn. Why does people assume that just because you date a fat chick, you got low
let me just tell you
self-esteem?
I just
There's
had
some
no-
beautiful big
Well,
women out there.
They were the only ones that were like that would be nice to me or like show any interest. Or these big fat chicks. And I'm not talking like just a little overweight. I mean these they look like refrigerators with dresses on. They were huge. And so I used to go out with them just because they were kind of just easy, I guess. I don't know. I had real bad self-esteem. I didn't really think. I thought it was so ugly. I didn't think any girl would want to go out with me. So I finally get this one girl, and I can't remember. I think her name was. I probably shouldn't say her name. I don't know. Not that anybody's watching this show. It started with an A, I think, and. So we went out, and she worked at the theater. And what I didn't know, back when we were going out, this is before everything switched to digital, and everything was still on those like reel-to-reel, whatever. And if you worked at the theater, one of the things you got to do is you got to watch the movies for free before they premiered.
Yeah, I had a friend that worked there. I used to go there all the time.
So they wanted you to watch them just to make sure there weren't any problems in the reel. And they would catch problems all the time. So this was good. I remember she told me that the American Psycho that came through Waco, there was a good like 5 minutes of the movie just taken out because the reel had messed up. And so I remember watching it going, wow, I'm going to have to go back and rewatch that movie now because, yeah, she said there was a large chunk of the movie they just had to skip over, whatever, for whatever reason. And, and you remember watching movies back in the day, and they'd had like the little, I guess, what do they call it, the timestamps or whatever? Like the little, every once in a while you get like that funny little like symbol that would just roll through whatever. Obviously you don't get that anymore with digital, but it was that kind of deal where, they knew when that was a symbol they put on there where they could switch the reels over. Anyway, this has nothing to do with anything.
Stuff.
Yeah, they would splice it. So that was like the big perk of dating this girl. And I think it was what really hit it is because I took a picture of her, and with like my disposable camera. This is how long ago this was. There was actual film in the theater, and there was disposable cameras. This was a long time ago. And nowadays you would just like take your picture with your phone, and you could look at the picture instantly. I had to like go get the film developed or whatever, so it took a few days. And I got the picture back. I was looking at her picture. I was like, man, she is really ugly. And like I was sitting there thinking, this is what I'm dating? And I was like, ugh. So I think at that point I was like, I didn't really care as much. So I was kind of unfiltered, which I think was a good thing looking back on it because I was myself, which I think I wish I'd have done more often, just being myself. So I remember we were walking into the movie theater. And we went, we saw Final Destination, like the first Final Destination. And we're walking to the theater. There's this poster for She's All That movie with like I think Freddie Prinze or something like that.
Rachel Lee Cook.
And okay, fair enough. And on the plot of that movie wasn't it kind of like a Eliza Doolittle thing, like where they were trying to make a bet to see if they could get this girl popular or something.
Oh yeah,
it's what the movie Not Another Teen Movie was based off of or whatever, their main plot or whatever. So on the poster, it's two dudes like shaking hands, and I'm like, I just made a joke. I was like, oh look at those guys. Those guys are gay. They're holding hands, and she was like, they're not holding hands. They're shaking hands. They're making a deal. And I was like, yeah, to be gay with each other later. And of course I was like 19 or 20, so I was like immature or whatever. I'm so much more mature now. And so that was a good sign of how this date was going to go. And then the Final Destination, which I totally hated that movie because it had no points. We need. I just one of these days we need to talk about Final Destination. Okay, you remember Final Destination?
Yeah,
I remember the first one being enjoyable because it. Out of all the movies that came after it, it was the only one trying to set up actual like lore and how things worked in that world.
But see, it made no sense because death sort of came out of nowhere. First of all, the kid has a premonition in the beginning. That's the reason he doesn't go on a plane. The rest of his premonitions aren't like that one at all. They're like, they change, which is kind of weird. He never has another dream like that. It's just whatever. It's just convenient for the plot that he had a dream.
Well, that's the reason why they don't come up is because he, when he saw that and he changed everything, he changed Death's plot, and therefore Death is having to make it up on the fly. And he's pretty much only seeing things as Death makes it up on the fly. Okay. Therefore, he's not getting the full picture of how it happens.
So,
does it make sense now?
Not really.
No,
so
okay.
The question is like, what ability do these people have to be able to have these premonitions in the first
That's
place?
not really ever explained either. So,
well, it doesn't. To a certain extent, I don't need the movie. I don't need movies holding my goddamn hand, and I kind of sometimes I resent that. I mean,
yeah, but you don't have to hold hand. There could be a much deeper element to this.
Dude, it's a movie where it was basically a movie as an excuse for a guy to add to his highlight reel as far as like special effects. His special effects highlight reel.
So the main problem I had with this movie was that at one point they think Death has stopped hunting them. I don't know what gave him this idea.
Well, because he changed the order. He changed the order, and he was brought back to life.
So here's what's really stupid. So 1 year later, they finally go on their class trip to Paris or whatever. And then they just go, wait a minute, you can't outrun Death. And then all of a sudden, like a big Ferris wheel falls on them or something like that. It was, What?
It was a brick.
No, that was in the second movie.
The second one?
The second one, they killed him off screen, and he died because a brick fell and hit him in the head.
Oh.
But anyway,
that's the second movie. I think if they would have just left it at a first one movie, I would have been like, okay, that I could look back on it and say that okay, that was an okay movie, and I can enjoy it.
So I just don't understand the concept of you didn't die until you realized that it was almost like it was cartoonish. It was like oh, wait a minute, Death can kill us at any time, and then it's almost like Death's like, wait a minute, you're right. You're right. It's time to kill. So anyway, that's the problem I had. So we went to go see that, and the part she really got mad at me because I was just bored, and I was just like, this is a dumb movie. There's no real killer. Death is the killer. That's just dumb. So there's the part in the movie where the girl gets hit by the bus out of nowhere. You remember this scene?
Oh yeah, that was one of the best scenes in the movie.
Where she steps off the curb.
It was like, y'all can both go to hell.
I just started laughing so hard.
That was a funny scene.
Because it reminded me, it looked like something like Wile E. Coyote would happen to him. And she just gave me the most disgusted look. And she was so mad at me the rest of the night. And I was just telling her, I don't think things are going to work out between us. She was like, yeah, you're probably right. Anyway, I'll give you a ride home. And it was like a mutual breakup. But I was so mad when she was okay with me breaking up with her. I was like, wait a minute, you're supposed to put up a fight here.
But why the fuck would you get mad at that?
I was mad because because it's just an ego thing. It's like.
See, this is why I get detached.
I mean, honestly,
this is why I'm detached from everything.
Look,
like
I told her, I said, I don't want to go out with you anymore, and she's like, I'm cool with that.
I would have been more upset. I would have been like, God damn, I hope she doesn't think I'm an asshole for telling her this. And then the minute she's like agrees with me, I'm like, oh fuck, thank God. Okay, cool, we're cool. You drive me home? Yeah, cool.
No,
and that would have been a great experience.
Her to be upset that the great Mike McBrine was breaking up with her, but no, she was totally fine with it.
That would have been the best part. Like, oh God, cool. We're gonna be cool.
If
if I see her in public, I won't have to like duck my head or anything. Or
it's like one of the few, if not only, exes that I have that, man. Whenever I saw her later, we were like totally cool with each other. So there was that.
That's because you both agreed on it at the end.
Yeah. So did you just go to the bathroom? Is that what happened?
No. I want to go see if Randy was there. I thought I heard a noise. It was just a raccoon.
Was it really a raccoon?
I guess we'll never know.
Schrodinger's raccoon, I guess.
That's kind of weird. He'll usually text me if he's not making it, because he loves doing this show.
I
Surprised he's not watching.
hate him doing this show.
But it's so good.
Not all the
You
time.
guys are so good with each other. You and him.
All
In
it
fact,
does
I
is-
was thinking about.
we never would have been able to have half the conversations we do now if he was here today.
Yeah,
We
we
did that.
actually
We did
had,
today.
had transitioning conversations about multiple subjects.
Listen. I like train wrecks. Okay, so this show is running a little too smoothly for my taste tonight. No, but I was thinking this would be like this is a show I want to pitch to you. It's like you on one side of the table, right?
Me?
Yeah, you Sanchez on one side. It's Randy on the other side, and I'm just like a moderator. I just sit in the middle, and I take like current events, and like I'll just say the current event, and then like Randy will just say whatever pops in his mind, and you just scream at him, and then we'll just go on to the next show. I think that would be like that'd be a funny show. To me.
Yeah, but like, I'd end up dying from an aneurysm on camera, and I don't want to do that.
Well,
I'm almost certain I would have a brain aneurysm for having to sit in front of him and talk to him for more than 30 minutes.
yeah.
For an uninterrupted hour. I'm pretty sure that.
No, actually, it'd be 2 hours.
Oh Jesus! No, fuck that. Fuck.
Hey, Brian, I gave you a little bit of an assignment earlier today. The Brian's gift guide. Did you come up with any ideas for any gifts?
Was I supposed to?
I suppose not.
No.
It's kind of a bit.
I need a little bit more.
Okay. Well, we'll give you
Context to that.
We'll give you a week.
I thought you said to gift guide to me or a gift guide. To
What
someone else.
would be a gift guide to you? What do you want for Christmas or Hanukkah? I'm sorry. You're Jewish, right?
Doesn't Hanukkah only get 8?
I think he's Czechoslovakian.
Oh, really?
He's of Czech descent.
Czech German.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I was more so what Brian would think would be good gifts to give
No.
to your loved ones this holiday season.
A good gift.
Well, like I said, you've got a week now to think about it, and we'll come back next week. We'll get back to you next week. And I'm curious to hear what Brian's gift guide.
You can always get one of those massagers, the vibrating massage things.
There you go.
Yeah. You can do a lot of things with those.
Yeah. Sanchez, is there anything in particular you would love for Christmas? What's will be like the perfect Christmas gift for Sanchez in the year 2017?
I don't know. I need a new gi.
You need a what?
I need a new jiu-jitsu gi
For what?
for jiu-jitsu.
Are you taking jiu-jitsu?
I've been taking jiu-jitsu for like 5-6 years.
Oh, really? I thought, but you're not on like any kind of hiatus right now.
Not really. I mean, I just paid up for my for school at for 6 months of schooling at Select Jiu-Jitsu, the
Well,
best jiu-jitsu place in the city.
Let's fight just right now. Let's go.
Okay.
Didn't you take boxing? Weren't you boxing as well?
Yeah, I was boxing when I was in high school.
Okay.
It was pretty fun. I still have tons of respect for boxers, especially the young lions.
Did you ever do anything without the pads on, or was it always
What do you mean?
with like the headgear and like the
Yeah, a lot of amateur, like just sparring and just like a few amateur competitions, but nothing outside that. I wasn't some killer or anything. There were killers in there, but I wasn't one of them.
Oh wow.
There were people that could fucking literally kill you with one punch. Like a
Yeah,
bare
I
fist
always-
would have killed you.
I always wanted to like practice my punch because I'll be in the gym and I'll see these guys working the bag and I'm just like,
They're one punch will send that thing flying like with some of
I'm
these
just
guys.
like, God, they hit so hard. I was like, man, I wish I could hit like the speed and the force they hit that bag with.
Well, why
like,
don't you go to the Waco Boxing Club?
I never have time.
It's
for
a hole in the
anything.
wall. It's like $20 a month. It's
Yeah.
They give you a nutritionist. They give you all this. They give you a workout schedule. They teach you how to hit bags. They teach you how to they'll put you in
They
the ring.
teach you how to
with
hit fags.
bags.
Oh.
I am not a homophobe. Thank
You
you.
almost had me there for a second.
I am not in any sense of the word a homophobe.
You're not.
No.
Sanchez is one of the least homophobic.
Yeah. Although I do say faggot a lot, but it's.
In fact, if a man offered to suck his dick right now,
I would be like, well, thank you, but no, no, thank you, but no, and that should be the response you have to it every time. Don't overreact, you know.
Don't overreact.
Don't overreact. Just move on your way. It's not
I
like
can't really comment what the comment I'm thinking right now because
it's like just go on your way. Just be like,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, thank you for that, but you know, I think I'm gonna pass. Okay, thank you.
I'm flattered.
I'm flattered. I will. I hope you have a great night. And
you know, it's funny that reminded me of something that happened to me when I was 17. Here's the thing. When you guys graduated high school, I'm just assuming you graduated high school.
yes,
Okay.
I actually graduated.
How old were you? You didn't graduate high school? Did you get a GED? Really? But you went to college though, so you had to have something.
He did graduate high school. He graduated a year early.
Okay, what?
See, he graduated though.
I'm just gonna talk,
See-
Sanchez. I'm just gonna talk to you real quick because I'm not getting answers over here from the right.
Oh,
side
you
of
never
the-
get answers from him.
Okay, I'll open it back up. My question is, how old were you when you graduated high school?
17.
Okay.
I was
So-
20
well-
years old.
Wow. Okay.
I took 2 years off. I took 2 full years off in freshman year.
just for some me time.
No, I just decided I was like, I don't feel like going to school anymore.
Okay. Here's the thing. I was born in August, and I was like right at the cutoff date. I really wish I would have been like held back a year. Like seriously, I think I was class 97, but I think really I should have been class 98. Because for one thing, all my friends in high school, when I was a senior, all my friends were juniors because I could relate to them more, and I was more into the stuff they were into. And they were, my best friend in high school was literally 30 days, less than. Okay, he was born on September 12th. I was born on August 10th, so about a month. He was a month younger than I was, but he was in a whole year below me. And what I've learned just from having a kid that just started kindergarten is the trend now is if they think your child is too young, they'll hold them back a year, especially the summer babies. And of course, both my kids were born in November, so I don't really have to worry about that. But myself, I wish I was held back a year because I would have been mentally and physically older, which I think that would have given me a lot more advantages because I was always just like, I was like a C student, and I was always usually physically smaller and weaker than the rest of the kids in class, and I think that would have given me, an edge up. Where was I going with this? So when I graduated high school, I was 17, and I went straight to this acting college, KD Studio, in Dallas, Texas. Which I think is now KD College because they keep, I don't know, it's a scam. Let's just say that. Like most college, it's a scam. No, it's a horrible thing to say about my alma mater, but what are you gonna do? So I was going to school there, and I was.
What did you go to school for?
Acting. That's all you can go to school there for.
Are you, bro?
Well, at the time, I don't know. They might have changed it now, but what's funny is Seth went to the same school, the Ringside Review, Seth.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll tell people it's a film school just because I think he thinks that sounds better.
It does sound
It
better
does
than an
sound a lot
acting
better.
school. Yeah.
Yeah, no one's ever heard of an acting school. It's like you go to NYU and take like theater. You just don't go acting, whatever. So
I'm a theater student.
How do you act there?
I was 17 years old. I was way too young. I was too young to go to college because I'd go to these parties, like college parties, and there'd be people drinking there, and I'd just be like, "No, I'm only 17. I don't want a beer."
What a
whatever.
fag.
Yeah. So yeah, and I hadn't been around like any gay people that were like openly gay at that point in my life. Not like tonight in this room. No, I'm just kidding. That was a stupid joke.
Randy's not here, man.
That's a whole other story right there. No, but I hadn't been around like too many openly gay people, so I didn't know anything about them other than what I saw in the porn that I watched. No, I'm just kidding. It's another stupid joke. So I hadn't been around, so I didn't know. So I was hanging out with I had a classmate who was gay, but I didn't realize it at the time. But looking back on it, like it was really he had like it was so obvious. He had lisps. He had like his hair was all like like it was always like he had like this long hair, but it's always like shining and like really looked like it was shampooed and conditioned. And he was really effeminate. Always wore these like baggy T-shirts, but they had like a really deep V. He always had like the necklaces on. And I always thought I was like, oh, cool. You kind of look like your alternative. And he's like, no, I'm just this is the way I dress, you know. And he would just talk like this. He would literally talk like this, and it's just the talk. But me being a naive, 17-year-old, I was as bad as Randy, just being oblivious to things, So he goes, hey,
You mean oblivious or sheltered? Because Randy's sheltered.
Yeah, sheltered. I say sheltered. And he goes, hey, do you want to like this Saturday? What are you doing? I was like, I'm not doing anything. And I thought he was just a friendly, because he was close to my age. He was like 18 or 19, and most of the other people in that class I was in were like these like late in life wannabe actors. So they're all in their 50s or whatever, and they were just like, I've decided I want to be an actor, and it's like it's not gonna happen, but oh well, but good for them. But he was like there was like two other guys in my class that were like my age, and he was like one of them. So he's like, do you want to just come over to my house and just hang out or whatever? And I was like, oh, cool, man, that'd be cool. And I'm so oblivious. I didn't realize what was really going on. So like he takes me over to his house, and it was like I lived in Dallas, and he lived in the Colony. You know the Colony?
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a drive. So we drove down to the Colony. He's just talking, and we're just laughing and having a good time. And then like he goes, hey, just what do you want to do? I was like, I'm just whatever you want to do. It's just something I shouldn't have said. And so I'm just like, let's just go there and sit on the bed and get comfortable. It's like, I'm gonna go, and I just sat on the bed. I'm just comfortable, and I was like, all right, cool. So hey, would you like some popsicles? And so like he goes to like his fridge, and he just gets some popsicles, and he starts sucking on them right in front of me, and I was like, oh man, I love grape, or whatever it was, And so, and then he comes and he sits like directly like next to me, just like our legs were touching. He was sitting next to me. And so I think like I just look at him and goes, hey buddy, you're a little close there. I was just joking around with him. And then like, I remember he put his hand on like, I don't think he touched me. I don't remember him touching me. I think I would have freaked out if he touched me. But I just remember he like touched his thigh or something and got his hand real close to mine. I was just sort of looking, just Randy-ish, just going, da 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 da. And he just falls back in the bed, just starts laughing. Right? I'm like, am I missing something? Why are you laughing? And he goes, all right, come on, let's go. I'll take you back home. Like that. I just totally missed. It wasn't until like a year or so later, I put two and two together. I was like, oh, he thought I wanted to, whatever. But yeah, so I kind of feel sorry.
How did that not like widen your view on like how like gay people anyway? I mean, like that would have been an eye opener for me. It's
you have to talk on the microphone if you want people to hear you.
Huh? Oh, I mean, like as far as like as eye opening, as far as like that could be considered an eye opening experience. Like like gays aren't just gonna jump on you, pounce you and like fuck you. Like they kind of want you to be into it too.
I never thought that they would be.
I mean that's a lot. That comes a lot from where like homophobia comes from, I guess. I mean.
No, I was never like.
I mean, you seem to do have a problem with gay people on some level, and that's all I'm saying.
You honestly think that?
Yeah, to a certain extent.
I think what they do is disgusting, but.
Well, yeah. Why would you think that? I mean,
I mean,
all sex to a certain extent, all sex is disgusting.
Exactly. Not that.
That
so,
doesn't.
I mean,
it doesn't make it more for them. I mean.
I don't know. It's just, I'll just put it to you like this. People should do and can do and should do whatever they want to with anybody else. I don't know. It's not like, as far as, like same-sex marriage, if people want to get married, they get married. They want to have sex with whoever they want to have sex with, as long as everybody's willing. You know, I don't have a problem with it. It's just that, you know, I just don't want to see it. It's, you know.
I don't want to see anybody's love, honestly. I don't want to like if,
I mean, if there's
even
a
you,
woman involved,
like
yeah.
even you, if like you came up here with your wife and you were making out, I'd be like, God damn it, man! I don't want to see this fucking shit. Fucking disgusting.
I mean, and I'm totally on board with you.
Yeah, like two people fucking sucking face, whether regardless of gender or fucking like, you know, race or anything. It's fucking disgusting.
Maybe I am homophobic. I just think it's gross. I don't think it's thing for like.
I think it's all gross. I mean, to a certain extent, it's all gross.
But it's not like I'm not gonna hide behind like any kind of religion and say, oh, if you read your Bible, man shouldn't lay with man. I just think, you know, I just like, ew. It's just. It's
well, I
don't think it's funny either. That's the big thing. There's a lot of guys will like make jokes like, you know, they'll start like making out with each other, like, oh look, it looks like we're gay, and I'm just like, I just don't think it's funny. I just think it's like, ugh, you know. Plus, I think it's pretty gross to like to use that as like a joke. You know what I'm saying? It's like
I don't see it. I don't see the big problem with it. I mean, no one gets mad when a girl pretends to be a lesbian. No one gets mad at that.
But you missing what I'm saying is I think it's
like if two girls kiss and aren't lesbians, I'm like, oh, cool. That's all right.
Not necessarily disrespectful, but it's a little disrespectful toward gay people. It's like, you know, ha ha ha. Look, I'm gay. It's a joke. And just meanwhile, there's like a gay dude over there, like, okay.
So if I was to say, I want to shove you in my urethra, so when I jack off, I split you out, does that disgust you?
Oh, because you mumbled what you said? I can't be offended by that because I don't understand what you said. You kind of mumbled.
Mumbled?
Mumble-corded.
I don't know. It's just, people do whatever they want.
I mean, like any form of public, any displays of public, you know, touching and all that.
I'm with you on that.
It disgusts me.
I think PDA in all forms is kind of.
It doesn't matter. I mean,
gross,
like to a certain extent, I am still a guy, so PDA in the form of two women does kind of like, okay, that's all right.
Yeah.
It just gets weird when it's you know, like couples or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, it's really weird. I don't think I'm any different than anybody else though. I don't think I'm more homophobic than anybody else. I just think that, you know, like if I see two dudes with each other, I'm like, oh, that's, ugh. Yeah.
That is on some level homophobic. It's very surface level homophobic. I mean, there's nothing deep to like. It's not something that like you're like say like in 2 or 3 years where it becomes, well, it's already become that way where it's like really it'll become even more common and you see it every day, and then you'll get to the point where it's like, okay, it's just old news now. I to a certain extent like do the same thing. I see two dudes kiss, is like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm just not used to seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, there's that shock factor.
Yeah, once the shock factor wears off, you'll be fine.
You just need to watch more gay porn.
I probably no, I don't. That's gross, man. I was having to do. You know, we do the rings. I do the ringside review on Monday.
Oh yeah. Speaking of gay, you know, you gotta admit that wrestling to a certain extent is kind of gay when viewed from the outside. Just like I can admit, like jiu-jitsu does kind of look gay from the outside. Like,
I really don't. I don't think of it in those terms, though.
Well, see, that's.
I think I just.
I mean, as far as like someone like you know, looks, someone who doesn't do it, someone who isn't a fan of it.
Right.
Can you honestly?
Like amateur wrestling looks really gay.
Yeah, but that's real wrestling.
Yeah, but they're mounting each other.
That's real. That's real wrestling. That's if a dude like German suplex another guy, there's a chance he will break his neck.
Yeah.
And he's trying to break his neck.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that looks.
Yeah, I'm saying it looks gay, but it's just like it's just a matter of like if you're there, you understand what they're doing. Like you can understand what they're doing in professional wrestling because you kind of trained it for a little while, you know.
I don't know. How do you think I'm homophobic? Do you honestly think I'm homophobic?
You've made a few statements that seem like you're.
Listen, if I had a homosexual like as a panel member on this show, I have no problem with that. I'd welcome that. And the reason I welcome that
No, but like, I'm
is
just,
because I think the more point of views, the better. I'd hang out with a gay dude. I'd go to see a movie with a gay. I wouldn't worry about it, you know?
What movie?
Well, it would have to be
semantics.
It would have to it would have to be something with Hugh Jackman, something romantic. I don't know. It had to be one of the DC movies, the Justice League.
I'd go see
Yeah.
A
something like
Jason
H.O.T.
Momoa movie,
Yeah.
something y'all can,
Yeah.
you know,
Something where he takes his shirt off. So
y'all can both sort of agree
No,
with.
it wouldn't
like,
matter. I don't care, you know, and I wouldn't be afraid of him.
You just be
Like,
upset. You would just be upset that he was objectified.
That I don't even really care about. I just think it's more funny.
Man, you did take a lot of offense to that other night.
No, I didn't take any offense to that.
Well,
I just
you did kind of take offense.
Look,
It's like, so you're saying that
Can-
it's okay
can I-
when men are being like, it's like, no, that's.
That was
I don't
me-
think she was making that point.
That was me stirring the pot.
Yeah, I understand
But
that.
but I'm
I was
thinking
trying to
it's
have an actual
funny.
conversation with him, you know, like, just
Which I tried to sabotage.
yeah, I was just
Anyway.
like, I was being very respectful
But
with
I
him.
think the whole thing is they were trying to get off onto other tangents and other points. And I was saying the point of what I was that I posted, for people don't know what we're talking about, is I posted two different images. One was an article about how the Amazons in the Justice League movie were more sexualized than the ones that were in the Wonder Woman movie. Although honestly they were the same characters, but they were wearing less skimpier outfits. And honestly, these are all buff, like muscular women, so it's not like they're that sexy.
Yeah, they're more
They're more
masculine
than
yeah.
anything. So it's like it didn't really make them. You know, nobody's ogling.
Yeah,
the Amazons
but my
and
thing
Justice
at the
League.
same time is like the
then-
one that
and
next to
let
it was
me finish.
posted by
Let
a
me finish.
man though. Like,
That has nothing to do with it.
yes, it does. It has everything to do with
No,
it. I mean, I can understand if it was a woman writing
okay,
that.
then I could find you an article or a Twitter. A tweet about a woman saying, "Oh, Jason Momoa." It doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't matter anyway because like
But it was
objectification doesn't affect women the same way that affects men.
But what I'm saying is women were over here just drooling over Jason Momoa.
I can understand
Yeah.
that.
But they get uptight when men like to see women like in a sexual way. I don't. It's a double standard, which I thought was more funny than anything.
Yeah.
You know. But if they want to get upset about it, that's fine.
They weren't necessarily upset about it. They were just trying to they were just trying to make their
So
point.
the point I was trying to make about gay people are, and this makes me mad because I was just flipping through the radio stations the other day, and I accidentally flipped on like the religious station, and it was like this guy just kept going on this tangent about same-sex marriage and how it was against the Bible, and he was like really upset about it. I was like, these people are crazy. You know, they're just so upset by that. You know, I'll just say this. I don't want to see two dudes like physically together. Although honestly, I don't really want to see anybody, male or female. Female, that's fine.
At least
But,
unless you're watching,
yeah.
you're intentionally watching porn.
Yeah, but you know,
You still watch porn?
do
You're a
I
married
still
man.
watch porn?
Yeah.
You don't know anything about being married, do you?
No.
If you get married, you watch more porn.
I mean, is she okay with that?
My wife is.
Okay.
I don't know if that's possible in my case.
What are you talking about?
Oh, watch more porn when you're married.
I'm curious. What do you mean? How is that not possible?
Well, he doesn't think he could watch any more porn. Period.
There you go.
Like even if he got married,
okay.
it would just be business as usual.
You've topped out, is what you're saying.
Speaking of topped
Yeah.
out, I got to top out.
Yeah, it's late.
It is time to go.
I don't know. In fact, next week, all gay people on the show. That's what I say. No, I'm just kidding.
Do you even know any gay people?
I know a few servers at the restaurants I work at.
Do you even know any gay comedians, like personally?
Yeah, we had a couple on the show last show.
Well, but were both of them those guys? Yeah.
I'm assuming the one, the Jewish guy,
Which one?
the one who went up, the one of his friend that went up before him. I assumed he was, but he could have been straight.
Yeah.
There was one that openly said he was gay.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a tricky thing. Hey, I want to thank everybody for watching today. I would love to do more show, but these guys. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you guys for coming out and doing the show. I really
Just me. I gotta
appreciate
go
you.
get money.
Yeah, it's all Brian's fault.
Yeah, I'm off tonight.
Yeah. How much longer is that gonna last with your
What?
working nights?
Why?
Oh, just curious. All right, everybody.
Probably till
Thank you for
January.
watching tonight. We will see you next time.